We know that carrying your groceries out to your car seems a bit old school. That saying hello and asking about your day feels like a thing of the past. Being best at fresh, it's not just a fad. Serving high-quality meat at affordable prices? Talk about a throwback. But at Fareway, that's kind of our thing. Because some things never go out of style. Friendly at Fareway. It's more than just a name.
Derek, what's the guarantee? Derek?
Mike, time to make history. Players in Circa Million make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries choose one team each week with no point spread. The last one standing wins it all.
We have $21 million on the line. Are you in? Visit circasports.com for details.
Two guys, two Chris's, one network. Iowa Everywhere. It's time for Two Guys with Chris Williams and Chris Hassel. Presented by Fareway Meat Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Where? Everywhere. Live and always on demand at Iowa Everywhere.
Maybe my favorite show of the year. It's here. It's time to get the picks in. Welcome to Two Guys. It's Chris Hassel. My name is Chris Williams. Aiden Wyatt producing today's show. Going game by game, Iowa State schedules. We're making our picks. We are presented, as always, by Fareway Meat and Grocery in the Channel Seed Studios. The 2025 season is here. And if you're planning your tailgates and you're not going to Fareway, then you, I'm sorry, are an idiot. Welcome to the show, Chris. How are you?
I love this show, too. Last year, we actually did this in person.
We did. And we did really well.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what exactly we projected last year, but I'm pretty sure it was very close for both teams.
I think we both, I remember Iowa State, we both had them at 9-3, and they went 10-2. So, full disclosure on this. I tend to go more conservative with my Iowa State projections, and I'm just being honest with my audience here. Because if I say 11-1 and they go 9-3, you all are dicks to me.
Well, last year Van Woke said 9-3 would be a disappointment, and
completely unhinged.
He still claims to this day he was right, because if they had finished 9-3 and missed the Big 12 championship game, that would have been a disappointment based on how they started. That's not really how this goes, though.
This is a hard show to do because there's so many variables to play out throughout the year that, like, we have like 10% of the information when we do this show. So we're really throwing darts, but they're educated darts, we hope.
We hope. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty on both sides. How are the receivers going to fill in for the two NFL guys for Iowa State? How's Mark Gronowski going to be for the Iowa offense? How's that defense going to bounce back after, I thought, a disappointing year last year?
In Vegas, that was the big question. It was a very bizarre round of conversations I had with a lot of the odds makers. And where you're in a room and they're asking you about Iowa's defense, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well the offense, you know."
I feel like everybody that's asking me about Iowa, I'm like, you know what? I'm more confident in what the offense is going to do than the defense, and it is, and maybe we're completely wrong. I thought this year we'd break it up just a little bit and do like 4 superlatives, kind of. We're gonna do biggest toss up, the game that we're most scared about, the weirdest spot, maybe a weird spot on the schedule, weird weekday game, that sort of thing, and then a game that could define the season. And we'll do those before we W and L the the actual schedule, I figure we start with Iowa State because they start first. And it's not just ahead of Iowa, it's ahead of everybody. It's the first game of the year in college football.
We need to make it clear, too, that this was pre-recorded. This is not a live show today. We recorded this before I went to Ireland. So, if there's a massive injury or something that comes, Iowa State won't do that. Like, somebody could die and they wouldn't release it. Campbell will be like, you just sprained his ankle. He'll be back in a week. So that is, just want to make that clear, be honest with our audience. All right. Well, Chris, let's do it then.
Okay.
Let's start with Iowa State.
Can we pop the full schedule up and just let it wash over us? We have Aiden Wyatt helping us out today. Matt Van Winkle has been suspended for this show for a year.
Yeah, after
because of
display.
How ridiculous he was.
Van Winkle
a season ago.
I'm learning he is kind of a irrational fan. Like, I remember times last year Iowa State's ranked like in the top 10 in basketball, and he's tweeting like, "This is embarrassing." Like, does it really like personally embarrass you?
He's one of those newfangled fans. He's from the Bay Area and the West Coast.
Oh yeah,
he's kind of a Johnny come lately.
Just want to burn everything, just protest.
So
everything.
He has Iowa State going 12-0, I think.
There you go.
But here's the schedule, and it all starts with Kansas State. You've talked a lot about, how you have to come back and face South Dakota the very next week, and then it's Iowa, and then it's a weird road game at Arkansas State before the bye.
Real quick note, when you look at that, one thing that is surprising is that is that right, Aiden? Can you double check? Is that South Dakota game really on Fox?
I think it is. I think it is because I want to say that I remember that coming out because
I thought it was FS1, but maybe I was.
I don't know what the slate is like on Fox that day. Now, week one is a banger. I mean, there's a ton of stuff on week one, but here's what you have to remember. The games are spread out from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A bunch of big games, but they're spread out over different days. So that might be why the Saturday game is on Fox.
I hope they beat Kansas State, because if not, you know how like when your team loses in the first round of the NCAA tournament, you've experienced that a lot. It's a terrible feeling.
Wait, you're equating a loss to Kansas State to being completely eliminated for the season?
It will suck the life out of the week one lead up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've given us these four categories: biggest toss-up, game I'm most scared about; weirdest spot, game that could define the season. I'll start with biggest toss-up because that's what you have first. I have September 6th against Iowa. Feels like a total toss-up. Like that feels like a game.
It's hard not to pick that one on both sides, the Iowa and the Iowa State side. Because this literally is a game where, since it's at Iowa State's probably going to be a 2.5-point favorite. If it's at Iowa, Iowa's probably a 2.5-point favorite.
Campbell's never beaten Iowa in Ames.
No, what's it been? 2011?
Steel Giants game.
That was Paul Rhodes' second season. I was there covering it for WHO.
That was maybe, I won't say the best Cyhawk game ever, but that's top 5 for sure.
It was an incredible game. Iowa State winning 44-41 in triple overtime?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Vegas is going to call it a toss-up. Iowa has. We won't know anything about Iowa at that point.
Great point on that.
I mean, I don't know. Iowa could be Brad Banks, Iowa, or it could be 6-6 Iowa.
Because
Iowa
really
don't know.
Albany in week one. That's the only game Iowa has before Iowa State. Albany. Iowa State will have played in Ireland against Kansas State and then South Dakota. So I'm with you on this from an Iowa standpoint. This is the biggest toss-up of the year for both of these teams. I'm not going to say that it's potentially a defining game, I don't think, because it's not a conference game.
Yeah, you could.
Because I think these
still
teams
go to the playoff.
Are going to be defined by what they do in conference play. But I completely agree with Iowa State being the biggest toss-up.
Game I'm most scared about. And I'm going to go November 22nd when Kansas comes to Jack Trice Stadium, Senior Day in Ames. Kansas is not the sexy team in the Big 12 right now, but they still have Jaden Daniels, a mobile quarterback that has destroyed Iowa State's defense. And Iowa State can't beat Kansas right now, right? Like, they kind of have Kansas State's number these last few years. Kansas, for a lot of reasons. Now, this was the game last year where they were playing like fourth-string linebackers and stuff in Arrowhead Stadium. But Lance Leipold has Iowa State's number. There's no doubt about it. This could be a deal where you're, 9-1, home game, playing for the Big 12 championship. You got a bad Oklahoma State team the next week. And this team, if you want to draw up an offense that is built to beat up on that John Haycock defense, it's what Lance Leipold does. So this is the game I'm most like. I think they'll be favored, but still terrifies me just a little bit. I think Kansas might be the biggest dark horse in the Big 12 right now, but we'll see. I have a lot of respect for Leipold.
They ruined seasons at the end of last year. I mean, if they beat Iowa State, and you thought that might have ruined it for Iowa State, but then they went on and won a bunch more. They ended up being the team, didn't they knock Colorado out of the Big 12 championship game and put Iowa State back in it?
And they're a little bit like Iowa State last year. A ton of injuries, a ton of adversity that they fought through, finish out the season really strong. People probably look at them unfairly, right? Like, they probably are like, oh, they underachieved last year. Well, they did at the big picture, but if you break it down a little bit more, they really were playing some of the best football in the entire league when the season ended.
They were playing some of the best football in the country the last month of the regular season. I'm willing to say that. Like, they could have gone toe-to-toe with just about anybody. Where are they playing this year, by the way?
I think they're at home. I read that.
They are they're actually back in their home stadium that isn't even, it's not done yet.
But
it's
I think that's where they're playing games. So.
Okay.
Weirdest spot. This one seemed super obvious to me, and that's Kansas State in the first game of the season.
Yeah, literally the spot is Ireland.
Well, and it's just like, it's so weird. This rivalry game, you're just not used to playing these big games in week one like this, and it means so much. It's a weird spot too, because Kansas State, they've got a lot of new pieces up front, specifically new offensive coordinator. And you kind of have this PTSD thing with these Campbell teams in September, although I think that might be overblown statistically, but nonetheless, it's there. We all feel it. It's just weird. Like, the season starts a week earlier. This is the definition of weirdest spot. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. I am a little bit surprised because of how weird Iowa State's first month schedule is and how scared you seem to be of coming home to play South Dakota, and then you go on the road at a Sun Belt team after the Iowa game. So there were different options you could have had. You could have taken here.
How do you define it? Like, the most. I
don't know. At Arkansas State is a weird spot. What, Jonesboro, Arkansas?
I mean, you just lost your last game like this.
Yeah, in Athens, Ohio.
And that was a 7-5 team. It's not like Iowa State was terrible that year. Yeah, you could make an argument for any of those. There's no doubt.
So that leaves you with game that could define the season, and I'm actually surprised that the Kansas State game wasn't there, because
I switched it.
For me, as an outsider looking in on Iowa State, this is the biggest pre-October game that I could possibly think of for Iowa State, because you like you just said, it's like losing an early NCAA tournament game. You lose that game, you fall behind everybody. You fall basically 2 games behind Kansas State, and you're being forced now to pretty much run the table if you want to go to the Big 12 championship game. And you're not going to have a chance to jump back into Big 12 play for a month.
After you have to play your arch rival a good FCS team with one of your former quarterbacks that's a starter who's an All-American, and then you have to go to Jonesboro, Arkansas.
But that's not your game that's going to define the season, or that could define the season.
Well, I have Arizona State. This is the playoff representative of the Big 12. Big 12 championship game rematch. Coaches poll just came out. They're the number 11 team in the country. I'm putting the chips all in here. You kind of got me to think about Kansas State differently. I give you the credit for it, Christopher Hassel, because I've just been like so negative. But if you win it, like this is a game that could be Big Noon Fox. Like this could be College Game Day. It could be all of those things. It could be none of them. Maybe Arizona State is one of those teams that they lose Scatteraboo and all of a sudden they are just kind of a team again. There's no guarantee that Arizona State is going to be in the top 10 in this game. But it could.
Yeah.
It could. So for what it's worth, I could have put the Kansas State game in 3 of these categories. Really, all of them. I'm terrified about it. It is a toss-up. It's super weird, and it could define the season. This might be the most important regular season game I've ever covered at Iowa State University in a really, really odd, hyperbolic way.
Because it's all about where it lands on the schedule.
Mm-hmm. But Arizona State is that is a huge opportunity, though. Like, there's going to be all these eyeballs, rematch. Like, I could see they have to come 2 time zones. That's a huge opportunity to knock off a really good team at home.
Is it 2 time zones that time of year? Arizona is one of those states that doesn't move back and forth. So sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2.
We'll call it 1.5. We'll break it in the middle.
But it is traveling. Like
it's cold for them.
Interesting. November 1st could be.
Yeah, we'll see. Or it could be like 82 with Iowa weather. You never know. So there you have it. Before we get to Iowa, we're going to do this with the Hawks. I want to thank our friends at Game Day Men's Health. Got my tea ready, packed away, ready to go for my trip to Ireland. Because when you go to Europe, it's even more important to be high testosterone because a lot of low T males over there, so you can stand out a little bit. There's pickpockets over there. They're not coming to me. Is that
a fact? There are low T males over there in Europe?
That was totally inappropriate for... I have no idea. I'm sure they're testosterone.
I dare you to tell that to some Irishman.
I bet they're actually higher T because they eat better and stuff than we do. They don't just shove all this artificial crap. They're probably a much healthier group of individuals. Game Day Men's Health, regardless. I go to the one in Ankeny. There's also in West Des Moines and North Liberty. Shout out to my guy Bill, Lindsay, all the team. Love those folks. Christy, Nicole, don't want to miss Trey up there at the front desk. Appreciate you guys for taking good care of me. Also want to thank our friends at Freedom Tire. Great giveaway that we just did with a great listener. Gave away a 4-pack of Goodyears and then paid it forward to a awesome charity. I don't know what the charity is yet, but we'll tell you that once that all gets sorted out. Freedom Tire, remember them. Not just for tires, all of your needs for vehicles, oil changes, all that good stuff. Quentin and his team will take amazing care of you. All right, Chris Hassel, let's go to the Hawks before we get to our game-by-game predictions. Biggest toss-up, you already said, is the Iowa State game.
Yeah, I mean, shit. It just is. And I almost feel that way every year. Last year, I mean, it could have been more of a toss-up. I mean, that game looked like Iowa had it won. Iowa State makes a great drive, and Conradi has to hit a 57, 58-yard field goal at the end to win that game. Iowa State.
I still don't know how Noel was so wide open.
Down the sideline? Yeah. That was kind of an early indication that maybe this Iowa defense isn't what we are used to seeing. So I don't need to spend any more time on that. That's my biggest toss-up. The game I'm most scared about, and you look at Iowa's schedule, you've got the Albany game first, then it's at Iowa State, home against UMass. You jump into Big Ten play at Rutgers. Then you're home against Indiana. It's the next game that I'm the most scared about. It is at Wisconsin on October the 11th. Now, that is out of an Iowa bye. Iowa has a bye before that game. Wisconsin has Michigan right before the Iowa game. I mean, they're tested big time. They will have already played Michigan and Alabama before they play Iowa. This is less about how good I think Wisconsin is and more about what I think this game means for Wisconsin. Because we've already heard, following Iowa's 42-10 win against Wisconsin last year, that Wisconsin has spent the entire offseason finishing every practice, every workout by doing 42 push-ups to remind themselves that they gave up 42 points to their rivals from Iowa City. I think if you're Luke Fickell, this is as close to a must-get as it gets. And it's in Madison. It's always tough up there. This game really worries me as an Iowa fan because it's a game that you feel like you should win with this schedule going in. You've been better than Wisconsin. They're a struggling program, but it scares me because of what it means to them.
Yeah, that's a great read because they are looking at this thing as like absolute must win. There's the rivalry indication. I also get the feel from Wisconsin. They're probably not as bad of a team as people think.
The record is not going to be indicative of how good they are because of how tough it is.
I feel that way about Iowa's defense in general. Like I give
it's
Phil
all
Parker,
relative.
Yeah,
it's all relative.
Like we're all My gut on Iowa tells me the offense won't be as good as people think, and the defense will be better. Like a return to the mean of some. I'm not saying the offense will clearly be a lot better than it has been. Like it's been so pitiful that it's going to increase greatly. But I just can't imagine the defense being. Anyways, totally different conversation. Thinking out loud there. Yeah, I completely agree with you. This game would scare me because it's one on paper that you think you should win, but so do they. Like they have this one circled. Like if we're going to salvage anything with our schedule, we have to beat Iowa at home.
And you could pick. You got to play Penn State. You got to play Oregon. But those are games that Iowa is going to be, well, as of right now, double-digit underdogs. So it's more about what you have to gain in those games than it scaring you going into it. Games that scare me are ones that you feel like you should win, but there's going to be some forces going against Iowa in that one. So Wisconsin scares me the most. The weirdest spot, a little bit more difficult on Iowa's schedule than it is for Iowa State. We talked about we could pick out like 3 different things. They do go to Rutgers on a Friday night to start Big Ten play, but that's not as weird to me as going out west again. November 15th, after 3 straight home games at Kinnick with Penn State, Minnesota, and Oregon, you're going to the Coliseum to face USC. And we just saw Iowa go out to UCLA last year. That was weird. It was a super late night game. They did not play well. It's always weird when Iowa goes out west. And this game scares me too. USC is going to be a favorite in this game, I would think. As of right now, I would put USC as maybe what would you say, a 6-point favorite, something like that in this game? Having to go out there.
I think they're underrated.
It's just weird.
I just think we have to retrain ourselves. We put too much stock in last year in college football in general right now. Like, these teams are so different from year to year. It's hard to just be like, well, unless it's like a team like Penn State that has all these guys back. But, like, I don't know. I feel like people are probably burying Lincoln Riley before it's really appropriate. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a huge year for him. And Iowa will be coming off, I mentioned the 3 home games and huge ones, Penn State, Minnesota, Oregon. They've got Oregon the week before, while USC will already be at home. They'll be at home the week before that against Northwestern. So I think they're in a much better spot there. Just a weird spot for Iowa. And the game that I think could define the season is Penn State. Because even if Iowa loses a handful of games, if you beat a top team at Kinnick Stadium, you really can salvage a season. And it happens early enough where it really could catapult them, because it's right in the middle of the season, October the 18th. It's the fourth Big Ten game. You're at Rutgers, home against Indiana, at Wisconsin. So even if you do, say, lose at Iowa State, lose at Wisconsin, you're coming home to play likely a top 5, top 3, potentially even a number 1 ranked Penn State team, a team that you've beaten before. You're at Kinnick. This is a chance to show, okay, we can do this again. We can compete with a top team again. And if they could win that game, it might change everything the rest of the way, because then you've got your Minnesota, Oregon, USC stretch and finishing up with Nebraska. So I think that no matter what happens before then, that Penn State game, October the 18th, could be a season definer for Iowa.
Could be one of the iconic games in Iowa history, too. I mean, you think back to the upset of Ohio State, 2015?
2017 was the Ohio State game. Then they beat Michigan, a top 5 team, in 2018. Obviously, the 2021 game against Penn State, that top 5 matchup that Aiden's showing us the key touchdown here, if you're watching us on YouTube. This is the game I'm most looking forward to of all of them all season long.
Well, you get your chance, brother.
Yeah.
You've been clamoring for these big games and to get out of the West, and this one absolutely should live up to that. I'm going to look at Penn State real quick. Just where should they be at that point? They have Oregon on the 27th.
That's really their only, I think, the only chance they have of slipping up before that, because they play nobody in the non-con. Nobody.
3 time zones for them. Penn State should be undefeated in that game.
Now they do have to go to UCLA after that.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be good enough to travel cross country and beat UCLA. Then they have Northwestern, and then it's Iowa.
They got to go to Iowa, and then they have a bye before their game against Ohio State on November. But I mean, that could be. Let me pull up Ohio State here real quick. They get Texas in week 1, but that could be the number 1 versus number 2 teams in the country.
Probably is going to be.
All right. Iowa. What's our last category here? We have that's it. We got through Iowa. So now we're going game by game. Cheers to the freaking weekend with our friends from Steeple Ridge Bourbon. Unfortunately, no Steeple Ridge out in Ireland. But, shit
Can you
happens.
pack a bottle?
No, you can't. I mean, in theory, you could. I once, one year when I went to Jamaica, some woman packed a bunch of wine in her travel bag, and she checked it, and that suitcase was just dripping with red wine.
Oh, it probably looked like she was rolling around the dead body with the
honestly,
red
it kind of
wine
pissed me off because it was dripping all over the baggage claim. Who does that? Who's I can only have my red wine. I will not drink the resort red wine. But I'd be fixing to do something like that with a bottle of Steeple Ridge, though. You take that out. I'm not a huge Irish whiskey fan. Maybe this trip will change me.
When in Rome, man. When in Rome.
Well, I'm drinking it, baby.
Get some Irish whiskey and ginger ale. Some Jameson and ginger ale. You'll love it.
Okay.
Or Bushmills. Bushmills is actually the one.
I'm trying to push the group to go to Bushmills, the actual distillery.
Do it.
But the problem is it's on Elise's whatever,
Who cares?
All right, Iowa State, game by game. Let's do it. Kansas State. We've been debating this for Really long time. I'll be honest with you. I actually like Iowa State's roster better than Kansas State. I really do.
Why do you think Kansas State has been placed ahead of Iowa State in most polls, whether it be top 25 polls or
I think that there's
in
an
the odds
element,
markets?
really good running back. There's an element of the Avery Johnson thing.
Yeah,
where
you've got a big name quarterback.
Yeah, and he does. He has a higher ceiling than Rocco Beck. I think Rocco is the one where it's just like Rocco Beck. You've got a nice like. Let's go to the stock market here, okay? It's like trading Coca-Cola. Going to get a nice yield. Stock's going to keep going up, but we're not going to go up like 22% in a month. Avery Johnson is like Bitcoin. This son of a bitch could win the Heisman, or he could be a disaster too. So I think there's an element of that. This is so hard for me. I think I know the record that I want to land on with Iowa State, but the problem is with this schedule, there's just so many of these toss-up games that I just absolutely hate. I got to get to that mark. I will go loss for Kansas State, opening the season with a loss in Ireland.
Wow, that surprised me. 'Cause that's where I'm going too. I have this as a loss. I think Kansas State is more in place, ready to roll compared to Iowa State, who, yeah, they brought in some good talent at wide receiver, but it's week 0. Let's see how they roll out there in Ireland. I think Kansas State, I'm gonna go with the odds makers. I'm gonna go with the general public and believe that Kansas State is just a little bit more ready week 0 than Iowa State, and I'm gonna go loss for the Cyclones.
South Dakota, we're both going win there, right?
I don't know. You seem to think that's a really tricky spot.
It is a tricky spot, but I'm still picking them to win.
Yes, it's a win against South Dakota.
Iowa. Give me the Clones.
Me too.
Yeah, this feels like the year that they get them in Ames, and they're even if they lose to Kansas State, they're tested. They know more of what they have. Gronowski's first big road game. I mean, the ingredients here scream Iowa State to me.
I couldn't have put it any better myself. I just think Iowa State is going to be in a position to succeed in that spot earlier than Iowa is because of the Gronowski situation and because Iowa State will already be completely battle tested by this time. So win for Iowa State against Iowa.
Is anybody going to – we're not going to think about picking them to lose at Arkansas State, right?
No.
Okay.
I mean, again, you only have to go back a few years to see him losing in a spot like this at Ohio, but come on. No, that's a win. So we've got him 3-1.
I think a comfortable 4-1 because I don't think Arizona wins in Ames.
Not in Ames. If this was at Arizona, maybe a different story, but you're getting back on the right track. That's a win. So now you've won 4 in a row.
And the schedule is nuts from here on. For what I mean, this is real. It's already been nuts as we've declared. But here's your next 5: at Cincinnati, at Colorado, BYU, Arizona State, at TCU,
and then it's your game against Kansas.
Yeah,
that you're most scared of, and then you have to finish in Stillwater. I mean, it's all the way out. It's I don't know.
I'm gonna pick them. I think they're going to split Cincinnati, Colorado.
I feel the same way. I feel this. It's kind of a cop-out to say that they're just going to split, and which one's which, don't know. But that's a tall task to win both of those games. Now, I know neither one of these teams is supposed to be. I mean, when we ranked our top 10 Big 12 teams, I don't know that any of us had either one of these teams in the top 10. We definitely didn't have them in the top half of the conference. But tough to go back-to-back on the road without a bye. The bye week comes after the Colorado game. So I'm going to say win at Cincinnati, loss at Colorado.
I had the same thing. We're going pretty chalk together right here.
Well, and Iowa State's in big trouble if this happens because you got 2 conference losses already.
So the 2 biggest home games in the Big 12 slate are back-to-back. Well, back-to-back-to-back, I guess, if you count Kansas in 2 weeks. BYU, I will pick them to beat BYU at home. BYU feels like, again, let's not overreact the last year. Like, that's my number one thing going into this season. Like, just take last year, and even with Arizona State coming up, like, look at the programs that were bad, and then all of a sudden they're really good, or they're really good, and then, like, Florida State, like, they're not going to be that bad again. Like, Mike Norvell had them. They should have been in the playoff the year before if they didn't have a quarterback injury. I'm going to tap my brakes on BYU, pick Iowa State to comfortably win this one.
That was the biggest surprise for me to see BYU ranked by the coaches when the coaches poll came out.
I don't see it. Really impressive that the Big 12 had 5 teams, to be honest.
Iowa State has, I mean, shit, was it 2 years ago? They went out there and just
killed them,
pulverized them. I have this as a win for Iowa State as well. So we are in lockstep right now.
Arizona
6-2. So you're 6-2, but both losses in conference, with Arizona State coming in and huge game. I mean, if you're in this spot, you feel like if you get this game, you can get back into the discussion in the Big 12. Obviously can't afford to lose another Big 12 game, or you're totally out of the race with 2 losses already.
I'm going to pick them to win this game.
Man, we did not get together before this and share our
You are too?
Yes.
Yeah, I specifically.
I don't think Arizona State is going to be as good as they were last year.
No, tap the brakes.
They'll be good.
They could have 3 losses at this point.
I'm not sure that they're going to be in the Big 12 championship game this year.
Genty and Scadaboo, like generational guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that way with Colorado to an extent too. Like, I really wanted to pick Iowa State to win that game, but again, I have a certain number that I think that they're going to get to, and I'm just trying to piece it together. But
over under for wins is 7.5, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got
like Colorado. You think about
right
that
now
with Sanders and Hunter. Like, yeah, you have people to replace them, but you're talking a guy, a Heisman Trophy winner who played both sides, the most electric guy we've seen in a really long time, and then a really good quarterback, a dynamic quarterback. It's not like replacing a wide receiver or a
Are you going to change your pick?
No, I'm just saying, like, you've got to
win.
No, I want to pick them to win that game, but I got to get to my number. So I think they split.
I didn't
those
have a
2.
number going in. I'm just seeing where the chips fall. But we're heading to TCU now, November the 8th.
This is a loss.
Unbelievable. I've got it as a loss as well.
Wow.
I think TCU might have a bounce back year. And they were just in the college football national championship game a couple of seasons ago. It's, I love Iowa State at home, but these road trips, I just don't know. I don't know about. And TCU is one of those teams that I could see them finishing anywhere from 2 in the conference to 10. You can say that about so many different teams. But I'm going to go loss there. So you basically, if this happens, you're sitting there at what? You're 7-3 now, but all 3 losses in the Big 12. Out of playoff contention, out of championship game contention, right? You can't get in with 3 losses to the Big 12 championship with 16 teams.
The Kansas game, in my mind, is like a 60-40 game.
60-40 Iowa State?
Yeah. So I'll pick Iowa State to win it because of that. And I'm clearly going to have them end up at 9-3.
I've got Iowa State winning this game as well. 8-3 going to Stillwater. And it sounds to me like this is where we're finally going to differ. I've got Iowa State losing to finish the season in Stillwater.
Wow.
8-4 for me.
Okay.
All 4 losses in conference play. That would put them somewhere around.
You're going to have tough road trips for Iowa
sixth in the
State.
Big 12. And you've got them finishing 9-3.
Which would not put them in the Big 12 championship.
No. But we both go over the win total of 7.5.
Let's just do that real quick and thank our friends from Wealth Charter. Retirement and tax. We're going long on Iowa State on the over of 7.5. And we both feel pretty confident in that. We have it over. Well, if you factor it in, we're over by about a game when you combine the two of us. But remember your friends at Wealth Charter Retirement and Tax. Appreciate Tim and his entire group. Can't start planning soon enough, folks. And they are your one-stop stop to simplify all of your finances. All right, let's do the Hawks.
All right. Starting off with Albany. That is a win. Correct? Albany
think so.
at home. That's a 6. That's a 6 Eastern game. 5 Central in week 1. We already had Iowa losing at Iowa State. So you're 1-1 there. Don't have to spend much time on UMass. That's also a win. So heading into conference play, 2-1 with a loss to Iowa State. And here's your Friday game.
I don't like this game.
Greg Schiano has Rutgers playing better.
Fox.
Yep, Friday night game on Fox. Rutgers last season went 7-5 in the regular season, 4-5 in the Big Ten. Did not play Iowa last year. They played Iowa 2 years ago. Iowa won 22-0 at Rutgers.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this feels like one of those games that we talk up like it's really scary, and then Iowa wins by 2 touchdowns.
For some reason, I'm not scared of this game because I've seen Iowa in situations like this with Ferentz. Like they go to
that Maryland game a few years ago.
That's what I was just going to say. The Maryland game, I think that was on a Friday night a couple of years ago, beat the shit out of them. They went to Rutgers on a Saturday night 2 years ago, beat the shit out of them.
Only thing is the weird time zone thing, but it's only 1, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I'm going win here to get Big Ten playoff right. What about you?
Yes. Yeah, right. I think they win this. They surprise everybody and win this game by 14, 17 points.
Okay. Now you've got the
total toss-up game here.
The first of 3 playoff teams from last year coming to Kinnick Stadium. It is Indiana, Saturday, September the 27th. You say toss-up. I
think Iowa wins.
I say Iowa wins this, and okay. I'm not a believer that Indiana is some kind of playoff contender again. I think that
when I say toss-up, though, you got to realize, well, they may not be undefeated because they have to play Illinois the week before.
I think Illinois is a better team than Indiana.
I do too. I agree with you. And
I hope that game is at Indiana, by the way, the Illinois game.
Do you like this coach?
Cignetti? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he's interesting. It feels like he's about to be humbled just a little bit.
I think so. I think they were good last year, but a product of the schedule.
Yes.
Their stretch here, they've got Illinois, then Iowa, by Oregon, and they still have to play Penn State. So, I mean, I think Indiana's staring at a 7, maybe an 8-win season. And I've got Iowa. I mean, you got a team that, if they beat Illinois, they might be a top 10 team coming in. I don't know that Indiana finishes the season ranked, though. I've got Iowa in kind of a statement here early, beating Indiana, getting to 2-0 in Big Ten play. And you have them winning too?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, I kind of feel like this is a 10-point win.
Yeah, I do too. Then it's your bye before my scariest game of the season at Wisconsin. And I'm going to say they lose this game.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
This is Wisconsin needs it so badly. 42 push-ups after every single practice and workout, reminding them of the giving up 42 points to Iowa last year. So I'm going loss. You're going win again at Wisconsin?
I'm going to pick. I changed my mind. I'm going to pick and beat Wisconsin.
Okay, so you got Iowa 3-0 in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
5-1 overall with their only loss to Iowa State.
This Fickle deal is super interesting, right? Don't we think he's probably a better coach than, like, he didn't just forget how to do this. Feels to me like a guy, though, he was feasting Ohio, getting the scraps of Ohio State when he was at Cincinnati. Feels like he comes to Wisconsin, the entire world changes with NIL. And
when he tried to change the brand there.
Yeah,
this is what Iowa fans like my dad have been worried about. Iowa fans like an Andrew Downs. Like, this is why you don't move on from Kirk Ferentz when he has a few down years.
Fickle seems to me he had one of the best jobs in Group of Five at Cincinnati, because you can just get the scraps of Ohio State, and like the only guys who have ever won there are like Ohio, like, you know, type dudes, and like this feels like he's getting fired after this year, and Iowa's just a more stable program, so I'll take the Hawks.
Okay. Kind of feels like the Florida situation last year. We're all toughest schedule in the country. We're all expecting Billy Napier to get fired, but they won some big games late, and he's still there. We'll see if Wisconsin
what have we seen from him at Wisconsin to make us think that with this schedule he's going to turn it around?
Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. And I mean, they've been bullied on the line of scrimmage, but this is a must-have. I mean, you can't. If he loses this game, I think he's out.
This could be a fire him in the middle of the year to get ahead on transfers type thing.
But I've got Wisconsin rallying the troops.
Okay.
So to speak.
So I have them at 3-0 in the Big Ten. I have Iowa at 5-1 right now.
Yep. And now you're coming home for the 3-game home stretch. Iowa doesn't, after the Wisconsin game, Iowa comes home. And Iowa is at home for over a month before they have to go on the road again. And it's the 3-game stretch: Penn State, Minnesota, bye week, Oregon. So here's the Penn State game. Penn State might be the best team in the country. People are a little bit hesitant to rank them number one, but with everything they have coming back, they might be the best team in the country. I think Iowa gives them everything in this game, but it's just not enough. It's kind of like that Penn State game from, what year was that, 2019 with Saquon Barkley, where they lost it on the last play of the game. That's what I'm envisioning for this. But Iowa really proving that they can play with a top team, which is something they haven't done really since then.
Yeah, I don't know how close it's going to be, but I have them losing for sure. I have a lot of respect for Penn State this year. But you lay it out perfectly, because this is the game that Iowa's just been recently in the last 5 years or so just been getting killed in for the most part.
Yeah. I think we're going to get a little false hope in that Indiana game. It's going to that's going to be the narrative going into that. If Indiana,
we beat a playoff team.
Yeah. This is Indiana, the playoff team from last year. They're ranked. Here we go.
Yeah.
And I just don't see Indiana being on anywhere close to the level of Penn State.
Minnesota comes to town on the 25th of October. PJ Fleck, Kirk Ferentz, a couple guys who don't really like each other. The Hawks win this, right?
Yes. I've never been a big believer in Minnesota. Yeah, they can put together the occasional decent year. But, I mean, shit, Iowa handled them last year at Minnesota with a big second half, 31-14. Minnesota needed a fluke a couple of years ago in the Cooper DeJean fair catch game to to hang on and win. I've got Iowa bouncing back here for a victory going into their bye week in decent shape. I've got them 3-2 in the Big Ten. You've got them 4-1 in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's Oregon, Saturday, November the 8th. And I think this is the one that Iowa gets. They need to get either Penn State or Oregon. They have to. They've got to get one of those games. They're both at Kinnick Stadium. They're during this home stretch. You're coming off the bye week. Iowa is going to beat the Ducks.
Wow.
At Kinnick Stadium, last year's number 1 overall seed in the playoff.
Gotta love the travel, too, for Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real thing, guys. These are still human beings. I know that it's like every year they travel more and they learn more things, but human beings have weird clocks internally.
Well, what last year, remember, they went to Wisconsin in the middle of November and almost
what
lost
a great
against
schedule
a bad Wisconsin team.
What a great home schedule for Iowa.
Oh, it really, unless the only way it could make it better is if it was a year where Iowa State was at Kinnick.
I think they're definitely losing the next week.
Wait, do you have them beating Oregon?
I don't know. This is I agree with your overall read. I still find it hard to believe that Iowa is somehow now on the level of like these top 10 teams.
I'm not saying that they're on the level of those
I know,
teams, but what Iowa fans want to see is that you are back to what your identity has been.
All right,
and if you come to Kinnick Stadium, you are going to get in a fight.
Oregon has to travel. I'm picking Iowa.
Oh, wow.
But I'm picking them to lose at USC.
I got to point this out. Oregon also is coming off a bye. So both teams coming off a bye.
God damn,
going into that game.
He's a really good fucking coach, man.
What's your pick?
I'll pick Iowa to win this game because I think they're going to lose at USC and I think they're going to lose at Nebraska.
Wow. So you've got Iowa sitting at 5-1 in the Big Ten after this.
It's getting really interesting.
With wins over Oregon and Indiana.
It's getting really interesting. And at Wisconsin. They win at Wisconsin. This is really interesting for Iowa right now.
But now you go to USC.
I'm going to take a dump in your Cheerios with this one.
Well,
I
have this as a loss as well.
Yeah, this is late night. The instant Iowa is electric.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I hate it. I hate this spot.
Lose this game by 17. Like this
going out west against a really
Iowa does not
team.
do well out west. No. Dating back 20 years. This is a bad game.
And
don't like this one for Iowa.
Same. So now I've got them falling to 4-3 in conference, and that's their 4th loss overall. So basically, I've got them eliminated from playoff contention after this game if they lose it with 2 games to play. But you still have them in playoff contention here. I mean, if Iowa, if they are what you have them, which is 5-2 in conference play, even with a loss to Iowa State, if you have them winning out and going 9-3 with a victories over Indiana and Oregon, they've got a shot to be an at-large team in the playoff. But let's go to the Michigan State game at home. Remember, this was one. God, this game was horrible last year. This was at Michigan State, and Iowa lost. It's the final home game of the season for Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
This is a win. Come on. This is a win.
At Nebraska, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, it's already been scheduled. It is noon Eastern time, 11 a.m. Nebraska on CBS.
They didn't shake your hands last year. Rules running his mouth. You got Raiola, sophomore year. I mean, Nebraska, you got to look at their schedule. They have one of the easiest schedules in the Big Ten. Now, granted, the week before, they are on a short week after a trip to Wisconsin, or a trip to Penn State. They play Penn State the Saturday before, Friday home game against Iowa.
Well, it's a short week for Iowa, too.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
but they are at Penn State the week before. They have a road trip.
It's totally different. You're right.
And they're at UCLA. Oh, they have a bye in between UCLA and Penn State. But Nebraska has a very favorable schedule. They are likely a top 25 team here, in my opinion, and they beat Iowa at home.
So you've got them finishing
8-4?
8-4.
That'd be a good year for Iowa.
And
with
I've
this
got
schedule.
the way I have it, they've got to win this game to get to 8-4. Correct? They've got to win this game to go above the win total. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go with history here. Iowa has just been the better team in this spot.
Yeah,
they've got the culture. They've proven it. I think Nebraska is really good. I'm just going to go with history here, and Iowa is able to get this win. And
so you've got Iowa and Iowa State both at 8-4?
Yes.
None of our teams are making the playoff or their prospective championship games. I have Iowa State at 9-3, not in the Big 12 championship, with 3 losses all coming in the Big 12. And we are going to go, and I have Iowa at 8-4, 3 losses in the Big 10.
But I mean, if it goes the way we think it's going to go, there's going to be some ups and downs and some really exciting moments.
I love doing it, man. I love talking college football with you. You know that, and I'm glad the season's
We've made it,
here.
brother. We've made it.
Thanks to Aiden Wyatt for putting this show together today. Fareway Meat and Grocery is our presenting sponsor.
I got the Instant Iowa hat on.
Ready to go for the season, baby.
Planning on being back this year.
Cyclone Sunday.
Do it again.
Aiden Wyatt and Ben Bruns. It's that time of year. Channel Seed Studios for signing off. 2 guys. Season predictions. What do you think? Give us some feedback here on Iowa Everywhere.